The Police Minister Bheki Cele has announced an increase in the crime statistics in the second quarter of this year. Over 6,163 people were murdered in the country between the months of July and September this year, an increase of 20.7% compared to the previous term. Now, for more on the story, we cross live to our senior reporter, Tumaole Mohlaoli, who is following that story for us in Pretoria. A very good afternoon to you, Tumaole. An increase in the overall crimes as reported by the minister today, and the number of murders that I guess one was to expect following the July unrest.
Yes, indeed, Tammy. Following the July unrest, one has noted in the police statistics a very sharp spike in the murder instances, and this would be attributed specifically mainly to KZN province as well as Gauteng province, which marked the epicenter, if one may use that analogy, of the criminal activity, including the looting, including the attacks on the citizens or other people, and this was really what contributed largely to the murder statistics. Now let's hear what he had to say about this particular spike.
Among the many other factors that contributed to the increase in murders was the July unrest, which affected mostly the KwaZulu-Natal province and Gauteng. This is evidenced by KwaZulu-Natal province recording 44.4% increase in its murder case in the period of July to September this year. 44.4%. That gave us 1,744 people were killed during this time in that province, an increase of 536 more lives lost compared to the same comparative period.
Quite disturbing indeed when you look at that particular factor of the murders across the country. But another worrying statistics is the sharp increase in the rape statistics that have been noted and reported at police stations in this particular quarter. And the minister, as well as the police commissioner, basically attributing those to a number of factors. And of course, alcohol and the abuse of alcohol, despite the ban on alcohol sales, was still a major factor. And let's listen to what he had to say about the rape situation across the country as reflected by the stats.
9,556 people were raped between July and September 2021. This figure of almost 10,000 people are raped only in 3 months. This is an increase of 634 cases, amounting to 7.1 increase compared to the previous reporting period. A sample of 6,144 rape cases revealed that 3,951 of the rape incidents took place at the home of the victim or the home of the rapist. Liquor and drugs were involved in 1,383 of the rape cases. 400 rape cases were domestic violence related, meaning victims and perpetrators have a relationship.
Tumaole, we are still in the midst of COVID-19, and I wonder what the impact on the crime was as far as the various lockdown levels. Did the minister touch on that?
Yes, the minister indeed did touch on that. In terms of the various lockdown levels, the impact on crime that one noted was a sharp decrease, specifically in crimes related to contact crimes. That would be crimes like, when people are basically held up and robbed of their belongings in the streets, at ATMs, leaving shopping centers. And also there was something of a decrease in terms of the hijackings, which would make sense because people during those particular lockdown levels weren't necessarily allowed to move freely because of the restrictions, except to go maybe to shopping centers and to get the essentials and for health care, of course. And this also shows in terms of the hijackings, in terms of both commercial. Commercial would be hijackings of trucks, of other commercial vehicles, cash in transit heists. interestingly enough, Tammy, the Minister also saying that now that, we are moving towards the festive season, which is traditionally seen in South Africa as a peak in terms of the hijacking, cash in transit, business robbery seasons, lessons that have been learned in terms of police visibility and in terms of the response times and in terms of general public policing will then be implemented. And Minister Cele saying that while you cannot predict how the crime patterns will go, the officers on duty will be expected to be on alert, and he says he will try to make sure that they are well resourced, and this is a constant struggle that the police minister has says his department faces. But coming to the festive season, they want to ensure that everyone has a good time and that everyone feels safe in South Africa, despite what we're seeing in these crime statistics.
Tumaole Mohlaoli, thank you very much for that update. The crime statistics released a little bit earlier on today at 12, and an increase overall in rapes, in murders, as well as a number of other crimes.